Britain's history isn't just written in books, it's told through the shops we visited, the brands we trusted, and the companies that once defined everyday life. Some of them felt too big to fail, household names that seemed permanent fixtures on the high street and beyond. But over time, even the giants can stumble. In this video, we're looking back at 9 historic British companies that disappeared, from family businesses that lasted centuries to high street icons that shaped generations. Each one left behind more than products. They left behind memories, stories, and a reminder of how quickly the familiar can vanish. From trusted high street staples to family-run firms that once flourished, these businesses survived wars, recessions, and countless changes in taste, yet couldn't withstand the pressures of the modern age. Here are 9 British business titans that vanished from our lives. Number 1. Thomas Cook Group. Few names in travel were as iconic as Thomas Cook. Founded in 1841 when Thomas Cook himself organized a train trip for temperance supporters in Leicester, it grew into the pioneer of the package holiday. Suddenly, ordinary families could afford trips to the seaside or even sun-filled escapes abroad. By the late 20th century, Thomas Cook was everywhere. Brochures in every household, branches in nearly every town, and millions relying on it each year for holidays. But with the arrival of budget airlines, DIY online booking, and changing habits, its traditional high street model began to feel outdated. Debt weighed it down, and by 2019 the company collapsed after failing to secure a rescue deal. Overnight, 150,000 holidaymakers were stranded abroad, sparking Britain's biggest peacetime repatriation. More than a travel agent, Thomas Cook was a part of how generations experienced their first taste of adventure. Number 2. Greenwood's. Founded in 1860 in Bradford, Greenwood's began as a modest tailor's shop before growing into a trusted high street chain. Known for suits, wedding wear, and affordable formal clothing, its focus on quality and service kept it popular for more than a century. By the 1990s, with around 200 stores nationwide, Greenwood's was still going strong. But the tide turned. Fast fashion was cheaper, online shopping was booming, and young shoppers wanted more casual styles. Struggling with rising costs and declining footfall, the company entered administration in 2017. After more than 150 years of outfitting generations of men, Greenwood's finally closed its doors, another victim of Britain's changing retail world. Number 3. Alders. Alders began in Croydon in 1862 as a small drapery shop. Over time, it grew into one of Britain's largest department stores, eventually boasting the 3rd biggest flagship store in the country. Families would spend whole afternoons there browsing clothing, homewares, and beauty counters, the kind of one-stop destination that defined mid-20th century shopping. But maintaining sprawling stores was costly, and modern retail was moving in a new direction. Supermarkets, chains, and online shopping lured customers away. After multiple attempts to survive, Alders finally closed in 2012, bringing 150 years of retail history to an end. Its empty building became a reminder of just how quickly the high street had changed. Number 4. Clugston Group. Founded in 1937 in Scunthorpe, Clugston Group grew from a small construction firm into a respected name in British industry. Known for civil engineering, large-scale building projects, and logistics, it earned trust across sectors and provided jobs for generations. The company's work spanned everything from factories and public buildings to distribution and property development. But by the late 2000s, the construction sector was becoming increasingly competitive. Thin profit margins, delays on projects, and rising costs pushed Clugston into difficult waters. In December 2019, the company went into administration, ending more than 80 years of service. For the local community, its closure meant the loss of both a major employer and a familiar name tied deeply to regional identity. Number 5. Betterware. Founded in 1928 in East London, Betterware started as a door-to-door seller of brushes and polish. Over the years, its catalogue expanded to include an endless variety of household items, quirky gadgets, clever storage solutions, cleaning products, and kitchen tools. By the 1980s and 90s, Betterware was everywhere. Its glossy catalogues were delivered to homes by local agents, and browsing through them became a small household ritual. The brand thrived for decades, built on its reputation for practicality and convenience. But as the internet grew, Betterware's model began to feel outdated. Why wait for a catalog when you could order online at lower prices with faster delivery? The decline of door-to-door networks only made things harder. In 2018, after 90 years, Betterware went into administration. For many, its disappearance marked the end of an era of catalog shopping. Number 6. Tie Rack. Launched in 1981, Tie Rack opened its first store in London's Oxford Street Underground station, selling ties in every imaginable color and style. The idea was simple yet brilliant: stylish, affordable neckwear in high-traffic areas. By the late 80s and 90s, the chain had gone global, with hundreds of stores in airports, train stations, and shopping hubs. For commuters and travelers, Tie Rack became almost a ritual stop for a smart accessory or a last-minute gift. At its peak, it operated over 300 stores worldwide, but fashion was changing. Office dress codes were becoming more casual, and the everyday tie was slowly disappearing. Combined with competition and online shopping, Tie Rack's core product fell out of favor. By 2013, its UK stores were closed, leaving behind nostalgic memories of when a tie was a daily essential. Number 7. Woolworths. Woolworths was once a staple of the British High Street. Opening its first UK store in Liverpool in 1909, the chain quickly became famous for affordable prices and an ever-changing range of goods. By mid-century, Woolworths was everywhere, a place where you could grab toys, records, kitchenware, and of course a paper bag full of pick-and-mix sweets. It was the kind of store families visited together, knowing they'd find something for everyone. But competition from supermarkets, discount retailers, and eventually online shopping chipped away at its appeal. By the 2000s, Woolworths struggled to define its identity. No longer the cheapest nor the most specialized, it was caught in the middle. When the 2008 financial crisis hit, the company's debts and falling sales proved too much. By December, Woolworths collapsed, closing hundreds of stores and leaving a nostalgic hole in the high street. For many, the loss wasn't just about shopping, it was about the memories tied to a bag of sweets, a birthday toy, or a Saturday browse through the aisles. Number 8. R. Durtnell Sons. With roots dating back to 1591, R. Durtnell Sons was the oldest building firm in Britain, and possibly the world. For over 400 years, the family-run business passed down both trade skills and leadership through the generations, constructing timber-framed houses, schools, public buildings, and heritage restorations. Its reputation for craftsmanship and reliability made it a trusted name across centuries. But by the modern era, tradition alone couldn't protect it. Rising costs, tighter margins, and increasingly complex contracts strained the company's finances. In 2019, after more than 4 centuries of continuous operation, R. Durtnell Sons entered administration. Its closure shocked many, marking the end of a family legacy that had outlasted wars, monarchs, and economic upheavals. Number 9. Austin Reed. Founded in 1900 by tailor Austin Leonard Reed, the brand became synonymous with classic British menswear. For generations, it was the go-to place for suits, dressing businessmen, celebrities, and everyday customers alike. By the late 20th century, Austin Reed was one of the most recognized names on the high street, with a loyal following and a reputation for sharp, traditional tailoring. But fashion was shifting. Casual wear became more common, and younger shoppers gravitated to fast fashion and online alternatives. Despite attempts to modernize, Austin Reed struggled to reinvent its image. Declining sales and mounting losses forced the company into administration in 2016, closing most of its stores. For many, it remained the place where they bought their first proper suit, a symbol of elegance that time eventually left behind. And there you have it, 9 companies that once felt unstoppable, now gone but not forgotten. Each tells a story about changing times, shifting tastes, and how even the biggest names can fade from view. If any of these brought back memories or surprised you, let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this trip through Britain's past, give the video a like and subscribe for more stories of the icons, the legends, and the everyday parts of life that time forgot.